He actually bought my dream house. My heart clenches at the thought that he'll soon be living here with his wife. How could he do this? I walk up the steps and sit down on the top one. He has no idea about my feelings. How could he? I never really told him. Theo and I have known each other since the day I was born. He's exactly 3.5 months older than me. His mother is my mother's best friend. We were side by side from the very beginning, no doubt partly because our mothers were constantly together. Theo quickly became my protector. I was never particularly tall. He towered over me even when we were just 1 year old. Now he was 1.5 heads taller. Everyone called me Bumblebee because I was always grumbling and buzzing around. Mom said I sounded like a tiny, angry bee whenever something annoyed me. Theo tried to call me that too, but when we were little he couldn't say it properly. With his childhood speech impediment, Bumblebee always came out as Stumblebee. Later, he shortened it to Stumble, and somehow that became his name for me. I was Theo Stumble, his best friend. If anyone teased me, Theo was there. He was my hero. I wasn't the only one who felt that way. Theo had a huge fan club, both male and female. He seemed so poised, so grown up. To me, that boy possessed the soul of an old man. Well, by now, he was a man after all. I sigh. I hadn't even realized how quickly time had passed, or just how dear Theo had become to me. I spent my childhood and youth with him. We took guitar lessons together, we learned to swim, ride, and play tennis. We even started a band. Sadly, all band members drifted apart once we entered the working world. No one had time anymore, and Theo was the only one left in my life. He comforted me when my first great love left me, and he helped me pick up the pieces. Back then, I had sworn never to fall in love again. Theo liked a lot of girls. It never lasted long, though. That kind of fleeting romance wasn't like him. It didn't fit with his otherwise old, wise soul. But perhaps, for him, that experimentation during our school years was simply part of growing up. I, on the other hand, took a long time to warm up to someone. I had plenty of admirers, but I never felt that special tingle with any of them, the one I associated with the one. Theo always laughed at my description. He had no trouble at all. Apparently, he felt that tingle every week. How could someone fall in love so often? Back then, I wanted to know why he sought out something new so quickly, but I never dared to ask him. By now, asking him would actually hurt, because my feelings changed a few years ago. I don't know exactly when I realized it, but one day I noticed I was seeing Theo in a different light. He always had plenty of brief flings, which I thoroughly disapproved of, but I also realized just how much I admired him in other respects, for his honesty, his incredible calm, his strength, and then, quite suddenly, the admiration I felt for him turned into love. However, I realized that Theo would always see me simply as Stumble, his buddy, so I decided not to tell him about my sudden romantic feelings. And that is how things have remained to this day. I sigh at the memory and stand up. My heart is still gripped by a massive paw, a paw that seems to be squeezing it until it goes numb. I know that, sooner or later, I have to walk through that front door. But I'm not ready to face him yet. I can't. I think back to our last conversation, face to face. Ironically, it took place in this very house. My dream house. It sits on the edge of a cliff. A white fence encircles the property. Large standing stones mark the path from the cliff to the house. You can smell the salty air and feel the wind, mingled with the spray of the sea. There is a magnificent feeling in standing so defenseless before the forces of nature. I see the house as a kind of anchor, or perhaps my ark, whatever you want to call it. I was captivated the moment I first saw it. 6 months ago, the house had been abandoned and was falling into ruin. Now, it's been restored for Theo and his wife. It has a fresh coat of paint, a white gray that shines against the sky. The white windows are new and huge, too. They look bright and welcoming. He's done an amazing job restoring everything. 6 months ago, it was nothing but a ruin. I had always loved this place. Theo and I used to walk along the coast, just as we often did. That day, I was euphoric. I was due to start an internship in England the following day. For me, it was a test of courage, learning to get by without Theo. After all, I knew even then that there would eventually be a woman in his life who would drive us apart, and I knew it would break my heart. So I wanted to take precautions. The more distance from Theo, the easier it would be, I thought. Theo didn't like the idea at all. Of course, he didn't know my real reasons. He actually wanted to talk me out of the trip. We had argued heatedly about the pros and cons. "Jocey, it's a big city. There are bound to be plenty of weirdos there," he began. I laughed. "My real name? Really? You must be serious about this." He never used my given name unless he wanted to drive a point home. "This isn't a laughing matter. Your mother doesn't think it's a great idea either." "Oh, I see. So you're acting on my mother's behalf?" I smiled. He looked at me in frustration. "No! I don't like the idea of you going alone either. We saw that movie where the girls got kidnapped, remember?" "Yes, I remember, and as you so aptly put it, it was a movie," I pointed out. "You've never been away on your own before." "Exactly. That's just it. How am I supposed to cope with life if no one ever trusts me to handle things? It's a huge opportunity. And a chance to get some space from you," I thought to myself. He nodded. "I get that, but why not start with a city closer to home? That way I could drop by quickly if anything happened." "That's sweet of you, but I think I've grown into a big girl now. I can handle it." I hoped he wouldn't take that literally since I was actually tiny, but he just bit his lip and stayed silent for a moment. "You can't protect me forever, you know," I said quietly. "Why?" he shot back loudly. "Because we're adults and our paths will eventually go separate ways. That's..." But before I could say any more, it all came crashing down around us. A massive downpour. We hadn't even noticed a dark cloud drifting over us. "Shit, if I catch a cold now, I'll have to cancel my flight tomorrow," I cursed. "Then maybe we should stay out here a bit, Lon." "Ouch!" I'd punched him in the ribs and was already walking away, looking for shelter. He caught up with me. "You pack a punch," he remarked with a laugh. "Maybe I really shouldn't be worried." "There," I called out. We picked up the pace and arrived at the ruins, breathless. "Quick, get inside!" Theo shouted, looking like a drowned rat. A gorgeous drowned rat. I started to grin until I noticed his shirt was clinging to his body so tightly that you could see everything. I knew what Theo looked like, of course, and had often seen him change his shirt, but this felt somehow more intimate than anything I'd ever experienced with him. I felt myself blushing. "The door is open," I said aloud, trying to distract myself a little from these strange new feelings. As we stepped inside, the house immediately captivated me, just as it always did. "Wow, this is where I want to raise my 4 kids," I said without thinking. Theo started laughing beside me. "I thought you wanted 12. "When did I say that?" I asked, surprised. "When you were 10, remember? That school essay. How I imagined my life, or something like that. You wrote that you wanted 12 children and that they should all protect each other, just like I protect you," he reminded me with a grin. "Oh, right," I blushed. The fact that he remembered that. "Well, now I only want a third of that number. Don't look at me like that. I don't want an only child, and 2 kids fight too much. With 3, there's a middle child, and they say middle children are difficult, but 4 are just balanced," I explained. Theo smiled. 4 then, fair enough." And he left it at that. No more teasing. My thoughts drifted off, and I imagined what it would be like if Theo and I had children. They would surely be the most beautiful children in the world. Theo snapped me out of my reverie, saying, "I think you're cold. Should I warm you up?" He pointed at my white sweater and blushed. What the hell? I thought, looking down at myself, and blushing too. What the rain had done to his clothes had happened to mine as well. Except that my white sweater revealed every detail, including my hard nipples. I crossed my arms over my chest, and for the first time I didn't know what to say. To diffuse the situation, I finally said, "Shit, and I'm heading to the land of rain." Theo gave a hoarse laugh, more like fog, from what I've read. "That wouldn't happen there. The Londoners would be absolutely thrilled if they could see you like this." He cleared his throat and blushed again. "Just another reason why you shouldn't go," he finally murmured. "Luckily, that's what umbrellas are for, to prevent things like that." I was more certain than ever about taking the internship. Theo was driving me crazy. My emotions were on a roller coaster, and he was going to break my heart. And he wouldn't even know he was the heartbreaker, because I'd never tell him. Then things would get awkward between us, because he'd definitely want to keep me in his life. He'd probably even want me to like his wife. I shuddered at the thought. What would our mothers say if I ruined everything just because I couldn't bear to see him with someone else? All those lovely, peaceful family gatherings would be over, and all because of me. No, never! We're immediately dropping the subject, Theo. I warned him. You can tell my mother you didn't succeed in talking me out of it, okay? And yes, I could use a little warmth right now. Shit! It doesn't look like the rain is going to stop anytime soon. Look, I pointed out the window. Then come here. He pulled me closer and hugged me, just as he had so many times before. I'm going to tell you a story now. And then he told a story about a woman who went out into the world and found nothing but misfortune everywhere, until she returned home to her mother. You're impossible, I said, laughing as I snuggled up to him. I basked in his familiar warmth while feeling annoyed with myself all over again. Worth a shot, he murmured against my ear. You really don't give up, do you? Will he miss me? I wondered doubtfully. He shook his head at my question and sighed loudly. I just don't want anything to happen to you, Stumble. And with that, he made it clear that I was, and always would be, just his buddy. I finally had to come to terms with that, even though my heart ached at the thought of never being anything more to him. I'm telling you again, everything is fine. I have to do this, for myself. Do you understand? He shook his head again. Why go so far away? You're always so vague. I used to think I could read you like a book, but something's changed. You're more guarded. Why? Shit, so he'd noticed. But I couldn't tell him the truth, so I lied. I haven't changed. We're just slowly growing up. That's just how it is. I don't like it, he said stubbornly. Hee-haw, I teased him. Everyone grows up eventually, I tried to explain. And then paths just naturally diverge. Not that I'd love you any less then, in a brotherly sense. Shit, I'd said it. It had just slipped out, and I tried to gloss over it immediately by launching into a 10-minute monologue about cutting the apron strings. After that, he didn't try to talk me out of the trip anymore. I raved a bit more about the house. Okay. I practically sang its praises, and when the rain stopped, we headed home. My mother had prepared a farewell dinner, and we talked late into the night. When Theo took me to the airport the next day, I was devastated. I sobbed uncontrollably, and he tried to calm me down. If only he'd known the real reason I was crying so hard. After all, for me, it was a farewell to the love of my life, and I knew that things might change by the time I got back. Looking back, standing there at the airport, clinging to him, tear-streaked, he said, "This is your decision. You realize that, right? You can still turn back." He gave me an encouraging smile, but my mind was already set on leaving. It was for the best. No, I want to do this, I'd insisted stubbornly. That's good, but make sure to get in touch. If I don't hear anything, I'll come over. So don't forget to call or message me on Skype. And turn on your camera. I promised to do all of that, and to my surprise, he planted a kiss on my lips, not my forehead. After all, he was my protector. Surely he would miss looking out for me. He had been used to it for years, after all. I was like a sister to him, and one misses a sister naturally. I knew that sooner or later he would leave me. And I was right. He was now on the verge of marrying the love of his life, a woman he had met only after I had left. Was it any wonder, then, that my heart clenched painfully once more? After I had been in England for a week, with Theo telling me daily how much he missed me, I had initially hoped things would work out. Still, I tried not to let that hope show. And it was a good thing I didn't, because everything changed overnight. During the second week, Theo suddenly told me about a beautiful, funny, and intelligent woman he had met. From then on, I had to listen to him talk about how amazing his new love was. I would laugh during our Skype calls, only to sob the moment the camera was off. I began keeping our conversations shorter and shorter, something that, as he told me, started to worry him a little. I told him my work was stressful. He called tirelessly every day. Whenever we discussed ordinary things, he would suddenly start talking about his love again. And I couldn't bear it. He looked so happy. And I was a wreck. asking myself every day, why did he fall in love so suddenly? A week before I was due to return, the bombshell dropped. He announced that he was about to get engaged. His words sent me into a state of shock. He asked me something, but I stopped registering what he was saying. I was frozen, and the hopelessness I felt must have been written all over my face. "Hey, Stumble, what's wrong?" he asked. "Aren't you looking forward to coming home?" "Of course I am." I tried to smile, and somehow managed it. "By the way, I have a surprise for you, or rather, I hope you won't be mad at me," he hesitated. "Spit it out." I thought a distraction would be good. "I bought a house, and it's one you know very well. I'll give you the address, but you have to promise not to be mad." "What kind of house, and why would I be mad?" I asked skeptically. "It's, your house." "But I don't own a house. What is this about?" "It's the house where you wanted to raise your 4 children," he said contritely, and another little piece of me crumbled inside. I tried to pull myself together quickly, but he had noticed my shock. I thought you'd be happy that someone is fixing it up. It was so run down, and they were planning to tear it down. It took me almost 4 months just to make it look halfway decent again. "Oh," was all I said, thinking that he'd surely had help from his new love. "I'm looking forward to seeing you. Tomorrow's party time, after all. My engagement to the most wonderful woman." "Oh," I said again, and I knew instantly that I didn't want to attend. "I can't wait to hear what you think of the love of my life," he exclaimed euphorically. "I think you'll really like her. At least I hope so." He had no idea how wrong he was. As I hung up, I swore to myself I wouldn't show up at his engagement party. I'd have to come up with some sort of excuse. My flight went according to schedule. Theo didn't have time to pick me up from the airport. I was to take a taxi. That was the first time he'd let me down. I wondered what else his new love had changed. Instead of getting into a taxi, I went to a bar, where I got drunk for the first time in my life. Theo called that afternoon. He sounded worried. "Where are you?" he asked. I'm still out. I'll be a little later." I lied, slurring my words. "Okay, are you drunk?" "No," I shouted indignantly, drawing a strange look from the bartender. "Really?" He sounded skeptical, but hung up after a moment. By evening, the bar was packed, and I got another call from Theo. He sounded angry. "Jocey, where the hell are you?" "I'm in a bar." "I met some people, and I'll be there later." I lied again and hung up. The third time, I didn't answer the phone. It wasn't even possible. The alcohol had lulled me into a stupor, and for a moment, I forgot my aching heart. The next morning, I woke up in a strange room. I was shocked. What the hell had I done? When I stepped outside, I saw that I was still in the bar. The bartender was wiping down the tables. "Hey there, sweetheart. Want some coffee?" I shook my head. "What happened?" "You suddenly fell off your bar stool. I carried you over to my place. I hope you managed to sleep off the buzz." He grinned broadly. "Your hubby called again." I answered and said that you can't talk right now. "Did he hurt you, sweetheart?" he asked sympathetically. I shook my head. How could I explain it without going into a long, drawn-out story? Damn. Theo was surely worried. Damn, I hope I didn't ruin his party, I thought. I felt guilty immediately. The bartender let me use his shower, and then I took a taxi to the Cliff House. And here I am now, sitting on the steps of his new home. My heart still feels constricted, and I still feel guilty. Finally, I stand up hesitantly and open the door. Everything is bright and welcoming. His future wife seems to have really great taste. Future wife? A lump forms in my throat. I look around. No one seems to be there. Maybe Theo is still in bed? I can't bring myself to look for him. Seeing him with his new woman would hurt too much. It occurs to me that I don't even know her name. I must have blocked it out. I can't recall Theo ever mentioning her name. I don't even want to know it, I think defiantly. I reach the kitchen. Leftovers from the party are sitting on the table. The kitchen is a dream. His children will love it. The thought brings tears to my eyes. Stay calm, I think. You need to calm down. I walk into the living room. There are bottles lying everywhere. So they had a party. Even without me. Maybe I should tidy up. I look around and spot the entrance to the fireplace room. The old leather couch stands in front of the fireplace. I recognize that old couch. It's from Theo's room. It feels so familiar. We watched countless movies on it, cuddled up close together. So many memories come flooding back, and I walk across the room to run my hand over the leather. But when I stand in front of it, I freeze. I see someone lying there. Looking closer, I recognize it's Theo. Oh my God, I think. He's here! He's asleep! Alone! I listen for any sound, but there is only his steady breathing. Why is he sleeping on the couch? Is she sleeping in his bed? I wonder if it might be some kind of custom, but I can't think of any engagement tradition that involves separate rooms. I only know of such a ceremony in connection with a wedding. Oh no, is he getting married today? He said engagement, didn't he? I can't breathe. The claw gripping my chest is pressing so hard I can't catch my breath. I run out of the fireplace room and keep going out of the house. It's just too much. I have to calm down before he sees me in such a state. And what would I even tell him? Jocey, I suddenly hear his voice. It sounds tired, yet alarmed. I can't turn around. I know I must look like I've been beaten. I run out of the house. Jocey, what is it? His voice draws closer, and then I feel his strong hands on my shoulders. He turns me around and looks at me. There is fear in his eyes, fear that instantly shifts to anger, followed by shock. What happened? Did he hurt you? What did he do? The questions pour out of him, and for a moment I don't know what he means. Then I remember that the bartender spoke to him. I'm fine, I say. If you were fine, you'd be coming toward me laughing right now, but you look like someone tore your heart out, he remarks quietly. Oh, how right he is. You tore my heart out. I want to scream, but stay silent. It's not his fault. He doesn't even know that I love him, truly love him. Tears well up in my eyes again. I must look terrible. He takes me in his arms and strokes my back. Calm down, shh, he whispers calmly. Whoever did this to you, he'll pay for it. I hear anger in his voice. He actually thinks someone hurt me. Did you meet him in London? Did he follow you? Jocey, I need to know what's going on. He sounds desperate. I don't want him to feel so bad. No one followed me, I finally admit. I was at a bar and had a bit too much to drink. Then the owner let me sleep in his room after I'd apparently toppled off the bar stool. He thought you were my husband and had hurt me, which is why he spoke to you on the phone. I'm sorry if I ruined your mood. You were drunk? Why? You've never drunk before. Why now? He asks skeptically. Did something happen? Don't you want to talk to me about it? I shake my head. There's nothing to talk about? I just drank too much. I don't know. Oh, wait, you're lying to me, Jocey. Why are you lying? I told you, if someone hurt you, I'd make them pay. Tell me what's going on. Talk to me, damn it, he says, his voice loud and desperate. You! I suddenly blurt out. You're the reason I drank. Oh my God, I said it out loud. I'm horrified at myself and stare at him with wide eyes. What am I supposed to tell him if he asks why he's to blame? It isn't actually his fault. I'm the one who expected more, and in doing so, I'm ruining any chance of keeping him as a friend. He looks at me in disbelief now. Me? He asks, clearly wanting an explanation. I'm so sorry, I sob. Did someone tell you? He asks. His voice suddenly sounds angry, making me blink in surprise through my tear-filled eyes. Excuse me? Tell me, Jocey, did you know? Is that why you were so shocked? What? I ask, bewildered. He looks no better than I do. He looks wrecked, broken. And I still haven't got a clue what he's talking about. So I guess I have to tell him. What other choice do I have? I was drinking because I couldn't bear the thought of you getting engaged to your Wonder Woman. I didn't want to come and see you with her, I blurt out, sobbing again. Our friendship is over now, that's for sure. He falls silent, and I keep crying. I don't even want to look at him. He must hate me now. He was clearly worried about me yesterday. And then, as his best friend, I didn't even show up to the engagement party. And on top of that, I made him think I was in danger. His fiancée will hate me too. Everyone will hate me for ruining his big day. Suddenly, I hear him laughing. I blink through my tears and see him looking at me, shaking his head. You silly little thing, he laughed softly. Nobody actually told you, did they? The woman I kept raving about. That was you. You're constantly on my mind, and our moms agreed the feeling was mutual. Or were they wrong? Maybe you don't love me after all? I'm stunned. What did he just say? You're the one I love, the one I'm always thinking about. Why do you think I called you so often? I missed you terribly. In the meantime, I finished this house. For us. That is, if you want me. For us? I blurred out, not exactly sounding brilliant. His eyes softened. Yes, for us. I guess it wasn't such a great idea to wait this long to tell you. We'd planned a big party, and I wanted to tell you then that I love you and that we belong together. And that I want to marry you. I thought you might have guessed. I made a point of never mentioning a name when talking about my so-called girlfriend. You must have noticed that, right? No, not really, I admit. I think I tuned out the moment you said you'd fallen in love. I didn't know what else to do, he says apologetically. You were always so cold on the phone. Completely different from how you were at home. I was desperate, and you were far away. Your mother said you needed a wake-up call, because she's long believed that our friendship is something more than that. I wanted and needed your full attention. And you had it, in the form of shock. I cried myself to sleep every night. I punched him in the chest. Ouch! I never thought you wouldn't get it. I mean, you know me. I've never been with a girl for longer than a few days, he explains. And that's supposed to show me you're talking about me when you say you've fallen head over heels in love? I listed all that woman's qualities. She was basically a mirror image of you. How was I supposed to know that? I thought I'd lost you forever to this Wonder Woman and I just wanted to get over it. How could I have guessed something like that? He pulls me close. Jocey, he murmurs, his voice rough with emotion. You were never just my best friend, Stumble. You were always the one. If he told me that over Skype, I would have been happy weeks ago. I love you too, you idiot, I whisper back. And then we kiss. No kiss on the forehead, no peck on the cheek. No, a real kiss. It took so long to get to this point, and it was totally worth it. I'm happy, and the heavy weight pressing on my heart has vanished. When he pulls away to catch his breath, he whispers, I thought our pet names would start with darling or baby, but I can live with idiot too, as long as you want me. I sigh at his words and silence his mouth with more kisses. This is how it should be. I may know Theo inside out, but it looks like I still have a lot to learn. But please, no more detours from now on. I've had enough of those once and for all. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this story. It's an original from my short story collection, and there are plenty more to come. Please like, leave a comment, and subscribe to my channel for more original stories, songs, and moments made to brighten your day.